Okay, so right back here is the newest residential development in Newport Richey. In this video, we're gonna talk about this specific development, Newport Corners, and a big thing potentially coming to Trinity. This is 34 to 4,000 homes. Huge development here on the north side of Newport Richey. Make sure you stay for the whole video to catch every little detail. Here we go. I'm Sam, and this is the Living in Tampa channel. We make these videos for you, as always, so you can understand what it's like to live and move to the whole Tampa area. We're also a team of realtors, and we'd love a chance to earn your business. But let's get right into the content. Okay, so we're gonna start with the development of homes, because that's why most of you are here. You're interested in buying or selling real estate. That's what we are mostly talking about. If you are interested in buying or selling real estate, we want to hear from you. Give us a call, text, or email anytime. The whole Tampa area, we cover the whole Tampa area. But today we're talking about Newport Richey. I want to talk about this specific development. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to talk about where it is on the map. We're going to talk about kind of what it will look like and feel like. This is actually a development that I live really close to. So I have my own personal opinions about this area too, but let's just go to the map first. Okay, so here we are. We'll zoom out a little bit, the whole Tampa area. We're going to go right up here where it says Newport Corners. You can see that's where I live, right up there. I'm not gonna go into detail on that, but Newport Corners is this 100 acres right here. We'll look at some news articles kind of showing the map of what it's actually gonna look like. But this is a development coming in from Lennar. It's just Lennar building this whole neighborhood. Here's Little Road, which is a main north-south road in this side of the county. Goes all the way through Newport Richey, all the way up to Hudson. Right here is just on the north side is Massachusetts Avenue. This goes over to downtown Newport Richey. Decubitus goes over here to like Starkey Preserve. But Little, as you go further south, goes down to Highway 54. So Highway 54 is really what connects this area to all these other suburbs. So just down the road, you have Starkey Ranch, which is in Odessa. You go down and down, you have Land O'Lakes and Lutz and Wesley Chapel, all that connects over there. But this area specifically is really interesting to me because it's a new development, which is not super common up in this area. It's 100 acres. They tore all this out and burned all the brush. I have some shots of them burning it for sure. And my son always wants to just stop and look at what they're doing with heavy machinery. 100 acres, they're building between, I've seen a few different numbers, 3,400 homes, and I've seen 4,000 homes. A lot of commercial development. But then there's also a lot of commercial development happening all around here. And you can see some shots of that. Some of that is just like smoothie shops and Five Guys and Jersey Mike's and stuff like that, along with all kinds of car washes, tons of car washes. But all this other development is a big sign for what is coming to this area. Constant new little commercial developments are always a sign that things are changing in an area. So this development, we'll go over here to this news article. I'm gonna show you some of the map. So here's that road, Decubitus and Massachusetts. Here's Little going this way. There's gonna be some up here on the north side of this intersection, northeast side, and then a lot of it will be in these other sections. So the bottom edge of this is actually Plath Road. So Plath down here, so here's that whole development. All of this is getting torn out. They're not tearing out all the trees, they're leaving green space and stuff like that, but a lot of it. And then Plath down here goes into kind of some like old Newport Richey areas. There's the river just on the south side of here, the Pithlachicody River. There's parks that go to this river. There's houses that are along here. It's really kind of interesting, old Florida. But as we look a little further into this article, this is an older article. This is from 2022. This has been proposed and I've talked about it before, but now it looks like it's really happening. Not that it wasn't happening before, but you can see roads starting to come together. You can see, some kind of interest starting to buzz around it. It was overwhelmingly approved by the city council because this area was just completely undeveloped. Now, locals are kind of sad. I liked it undeveloped. I like being able to drive down Little to my house and you have kind of this big stretch of forest, but no longer will we have that. So the initial application was for 3,400 residential units. 350,000 square feet of commercial, and 1 million square feet of employment, office, and supporting uses. In effect, creating a second downtown area in the West Market area. So when they're talking about the West Market area, they're talking about like the west side of Pasco County. Another interesting note here is they're talking about Pasco County growing to 1 million people by 2040. Right now, it's 500,000 people. If it were to double in the next 15 years, that is massive growth, and that means destroying a lot of this undeveloped land and building residential properties. Now, that is kind of what happens as areas grow. This is one of the directions that the Tampa area can grow. So one of the most unique aspects about this specific community to me is something I want to show you on the map. So here it is, this whole area right here. Decubulus doesn't really go anywhere, kind of curves up into this other neighborhood. If you go up little to Ridge Road, not very far at all. Up here you have Lowe's and you have Home Depot and you have a little Walmart and Applebee's and Hobby Lobby. There's all kinds of like development right here. But if you take Ridge, which is a nice wide road, down this way, down further, you end up, you go through parts of, Starkey Preserve. That's what a lot of this is. Then you find Suncoast Parkway. This is the Veterans Expressway. This goes right down into Tampa. So for me, which I live in this area, this makes a drive to the airport like 40 minutes. I actually need to drive to the airport right now because I'm going to pick up my sister. But that makes this area really unique because the home prices in this neighborhood are going to be, for townhouses starting in the low 300s, maybe high 2s. And then the big single family homes are going to go up into the 5s and 6s. But it's a very affordable option for people that need to commute to Tampa. The commute is pretty easy. Now, it's still 40 minutes, sometimes 50 minutes, but it's easy. And that's kind of the way I think of commuting. If it's easy, it kind of changes things. Okay, I want to talk about another development coming to Trinity. Now they're calling the development Trinity. It's not actually in Trinity. This bothers me overall about this area around Trinity, because they want to call themselves Trinity. And wherever you live, you probably have an area kind of like Trinity where it kind of calls itself its own name. It has schools that have better ratings than the surrounding area, and it has really kind of nice gated neighborhoods. It has kind of an exclusive feel, and Trinity has that. So then what happens is the areas surrounding Trinity try to call themselves like Trinity North or things like that when they're not actually Trinity. But the developer is calling this thing Trinity. So I'm going to zoom back out here and show you, starting from the map, where this place is. So here's Newport Richey overall. And keep in mind, Newport Richey is pretty big. It's about 150,000 people currently. To give some scale to that, Wesley Chapel is about 65,000 people. So more than double the size of Wesley Chapel. Clearwater, which is a big draw for the area, is 115,000 people. So we're still bigger than Clearwater. St Petersburg is about 250,000. So we're more than half the size. We're 65% of the size of St Petersburg in Newport Richey. Now, when you look up Newport Richey, it's just going to show downtown, but it's so much more than that. Okay, so let's look here. I'm going to switch to the other view real quick, what you guys are used to seeing. There's Newport Corners that we just talked about. There's Ridge Road going over to Veterans Expressway. Down here is the Trinity area along Trinity Boulevard. This is kind of the county line, but just right here between Pinellas County over here, Hillsborough County over here, and Pasco County up here. This line in between kind of runs right here by the Brooker, or actually it's like right here, right on the other side of the Brooker Creek Preserve. Yeah, and then falls along here down by the Eagles neighborhood. So this is Trinity area, cool neighborhoods, links to the videos about Trinity there specifically. It's a really cool area, it genuinely is. And there's been tons of development right around here at the intersection of Little and 54 over the past decade. And there's been a lot of development in this area in the past decade, by like a lot. New neighborhood here behind the Sprouts, and then down the road a little further, just down 54 over here, we've had other new neighborhoods come in. You can kind of see you recognize them. This is Copper Spring. You can recognize them by kind of the look of them. They're just a little different. But back to this intersection. Here's 54 and here's Little. Even remember 54 goes over to all that other stuff. Just south of the Target, just southeast of the Target. There's also a hospital here that they've been adding on to a lot lately. There's 800 acres right here. This is one of the places in Newport Richey where you still see cattle. And you drive right here along Highway 54. It's really interesting. Like you see cattle here, and then you see Starkey Ranch right over here, which is like a big fancy neighborhood. It's super charming for the area. So the proposed development is to take this 800 acres and build a massive sports complex. So like an entertainment sports complex. It would have stadiums for shows. It would have a professional size soccer stadium, a 7,000 seat baseball stadium, and they're thinking it's going to be a big draw in all kinds of ways. Now, locals are sad. This land is pretty rare. They don't see why it would need to be developed like this. It's going to put a lot of pressure on infrastructure, but it's privately funded. Now, it will still need some approval from the city and the county. It's kind of interesting. Now, think a mixture here. So it's kind of like Disney Springs, which is, that commercial area where you can go eat and hang out by the water right there in the middle of the Disney area. But this is like 7 times bigger. This proposed area is 7 times bigger than Disney Springs. It could have all kinds of events. It could be a draw for all kinds of areas. But then also think of this other thing of developing talent. And this is something that a few articles have talked about, like the IMG Academy, which there's one in Southern California and there's one in Bradenton. This really like high-end private school that develops athletes. They're also kind of comparing it to that in some ways. Now, this is still really early on. This was really proposed just a week ago. I'm really curious what you guys think of it and what you think will happen. Those are 2 big things coming to Newport Richey, potentially. One's coming for sure, all the homes just on the north side. And then this new development, I wish they wouldn't call it Trinity, because that's super confusing, just to call this whole big thing Trinity. But we love this area. Newport Richey has some really unique charm. Obviously, it's getting some more attention to develop even further. This is just one of the few areas where you can still get 800 acres that isn't completely protected as watershed or preserve. It's actually really interesting. I would assume, and I should look into it further, that this land used to belong to the Mitchell family, which is one of the big ranching families in the area. All those plazas right there on Little and 54 are named after the Mitchell family. So I think this is actually original Mitchell family ranch land that they're looking to sell to a developer. I'm curious what you guys think of all this. Please leave comments below and please reach out. We are covering stuff like this all the time, but more importantly than covering stuff like this, we want to help you buy and sell real estate here in the Tampa area. We have a team and an amazing process that are built to help you call Tampa home. So give us a call, text, or email anytime. Thanks for coming by.